If you want to get into a physical fight, I will get physical with you if you want to actually try to even fucking argue.
That there are only two genders?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only two.
Because I'm fixing to punch you in the face.
She wants to hurt me. And the bitch don't even know me.
Graduate students in science.
Okay.
And so we have experience with exactly this, which is that no theory is ever entirely established as fact.
Amen.
Right. So you file the evidence and you file the evidence. And nobody can say like, oh, we know this for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but I think practically speaking, at some point, there's so much overwhelming evidence that for practical reasons, you shouldn't be able to just like...
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yes.
So, in the case...
The more sources you get, the more substantial and more relatable, I'm missing the word here, a certain fact becomes.
Right. It gains momentum.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. So, I guess the way that relates to our presidency is I see a mounting number of pieces of evidence that point to very similar behavior over time. And I guess that's what convinces me.
And the behavior is what?
Yeah, what behavior?
Yeah, so a lot of it would be, for example, many instances where comments or rhetoric given by the White House support division as opposed to bringing people together.
Which is historically every president.
Well,
Obama was great at that. He perfected it, and Trump then like added to it.
Well, so for one example, one piece of rhetoric that I did not particularly enjoy is when there were neo-Nazis on the street. And even though the world as a whole has experience with this particular group of people, not explicitly condemned.
They were not explicitly what?
They were not explicitly condemned by the president. So
okay.
I just can't think of a good reason as to why the condemnation won't take place. Now, if there were a new radical group, then we could have a different.
But do you think? I don't believe that Obama should be condemning everything I wanted him to condemn,
Sure.
And I don't think Trump should be condemning everything that somebody might say. Hey, you need to condemn this. I mean, that's not his job as the president.
No.
And he did condemn it, just not as quickly as they wanted him to, because it's a. I mean, look, the president is not a racist and does not support Nazis. So a common sense person that's objective, an objective common sense person would go, that is so aberrant. The fact that there are Nazis out there, or that there are racists or skinheads. Why should we have to vocalize the fact that it's a pretty. The general idea is that that's pretty aberrant.
Well,
what he did.
I actually don't think the president is racist per se. I think it doesn't factor into the rhetoric, because it turns out that a great number of these people voted for him. So I see a conflict of interest there. More than racism, I actually see a conflict of interest, which is to say there are people on the street that support me, and outright condemnation of them would hurt me in terms of votes or popularity.
So him denouncing David Duke wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, no,
okay.
because there
so
are.
what should he have done? He's an
all
asshole.
of the Nazis.
Okay.
All of them. All of the Nazis.
So name.
Majority of black population.
His
But they also voted for Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
So Barack Obama,
actions speak louder than
that's a
words.
conflict of interest.
Yeah, Louis Farrakhan is an extremist, Muslim, Jew-hating anti-Semite.
So you're telling me that?
You don't know who Louis Farrakhan is? No, we're making the equation that Louis Farrakhan is an anti-Semite. He talks about the extermination of Jews. He talks about the extermination of Israel. He's an American. He calls Jews termites. That is no different. What's that?
He sounds like a shitty person.
He's a shitty person, just like those neo-Nazis are shitty people. But I don't hold it against Obama that he never denounced Louis Farrakhan, who supported Obama. Just like I don't hold it against Trump that these Nazis might happen to vote or support Trump. Does that make sense? It's the exact same thing, but it's two opposite sides of this. Who supports them? He does not support them. How does he support them? What actions? What actions? What has he done to support them?
No, so in Charlottesville, like,
Well, Charlottesville is the big one.
Was that the one where the car ran into the?
Yes, after the car was attacked and he stepped on the gas and hit that woman.
I remember saying that there's wrongdoing on both sides.
He said there were good people.
I was in Charlottesville. You're having a conversation with somebody who was in the middle of
that. So to
He was
use
actually there.
conversation, I was there.
Okay, yeah, sure.
There was wrong on both sides.
And there was also good on both sides.
But if the Nazis like attacked,
But they weren't all Nazis. They weren't all Nazis. The people who attacked, the people who did the attacking were Nazis. But the guy that with the car, if you watch the video, they started attacking his car and hitting his car with sticks, and he hit the gas and he ran into that woman. Now, that doesn't make the fact that he's a Nazi any better.
His car admitted it openly more than once online. There are more than one comment he made where he admits to attacking that man's car with a rifle. What are you going to do when a mob attacks your car? Hit the gas and get out of here.
No, you're not.
That's what I'm going to do, or I'm going to start shooting. Which one do you prefer?
Brother Hines did not die.
If someone attacks me, so I just sit there and get attacked? Is that what I'm supposed to do? If my car is getting, if I'm getting attacked and my life is in danger, what do you want me to do? No. If I'm in danger, what am I supposed to do?
You're safe in a car?
They're breaking the windows. Why would they break? Why would they break the windows? No, you get out of there. Okay, so if I'm attacked, I should just kind of. Please stop attacking me, man. Please stop. Yeah, I'm gonna go slow.
You creep forward until people get out of the way. You push forward slowly. That's what you're trained
When
to
you
do.
are surrounded by a mob, you just creep forward.
Yeah, until they people will start.
So
getting
people,
out
so
of
it's
the
not natural that when people are attacked, they run.
way. You're gonna ram people.
It's not natural that when people are attacked, they run. You think that people just kind of slowly try to get out of the
No,
area?
if you're being mobbed, you just keep moving forward in your car that's bigger than
I'm
people,
looking at it now.
and they will.
And your car windows are being smashed as you go slow.
It takes a lot to smash.
It doesn't take a lot to smash a side window at all.
Like into them?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Agree to disagree.
Well, it's
Car windows are hard
no
to smash.
windshields and rear windshields are very hard because that's
Unless you have a special tool.
it's not very hard when you've got a pole at all. And actually, all you
I am not gonna argue.
I know you're not going to argue because it destroys your argument about the fact that not everyone there. You're telling me that Trump supports Nazis. You tell me that Trump. What actions?
What I'm saying is
You haven't said what actions yet.
His actions in the whole scheme of things.
What actions?
Can I finish?
I'm asking you what actions.
Okay. Not another word till I finish a fucking sentence.
I'll talk when I
That's
want to.
rude.
I just want to hear actions.
Okay,
You
then
said
can sit here-
actions.
Then you can just sit here and talk.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I will shut my. What was the word you used? The F word. There. Okay, I'll shut that, and you go ahead and talk. I'll tell you what. When I'm ready to talk, when I'm allowed to talk, you just let me know you can talk now. All right, I'm done. I'm done until you give me permission to talk. Go ahead and go.
There's no one around there though. There's no one in this alley.
I was there. I've seen every video on it.
So you don't have any actions that Trump has done. I think you're shutting up because there are no actions that you can defend or you can point to. That's why you won't talk.
I would just like to see what.
But idiots need to know the truth. I don't want to be an idiot. I want you to tell me the
You
truth.
can't even hold a civil conversation. That's part of the problem with this side and that side and that side.
Okay, let's have a civil. I am sorry. I apologize. Let's have a civil conversation.
Proving that you cannot have a civil conversation.
I haven't used profanity once yet. You have.
Oh, I love profanity.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's very civil.
I don't care if it's civil or not.
Oh, so you don't care about civility, but yet you care that I'm being uncivil to you.
Civil until you push all of my buttons, and I don't have to fucking be civil. Fuck is my favorite word.
Congratulations, you're a degenerate. Yeah. All right. So what actions have Trump?
I can have a civil conversation, and apparently you can't because if you
Yeah,
keep interrupting,
I'm trying to have one.
keep interrupting, then you think you're winning.
Okay.
So
I'm done.
win by shutting up.
Is that what you think?
I don't have to blow on myself
Okay.
to have that kind of conversation.
Gotcha.
I know I'm right. And I know what I feel.
Yes.
And I know how I feel about Trump. And I know that he's a fucking idiot. I'm more scared of Pence, so I'll deal with Trump. I'd rather deal with a fucking idiot that doesn't know anything, that spouts off like a 12-year-old.
That's me. You're talking to one now.
No, I'd
Yeah.
rather live with a 12-year-old idiot that spouts off on Twitter that doesn't know anything about the law or running a country than to deal with the scary man Pence that is evil incarnate.
What?
and that
No,
will
but at least with that like
do
previous
damage
video,
to my friends in the
he was in an
LGBT.
open alley. There's no one
That's
around.
what I'm more scared
And then he-
about.
How has he done damage?
What's going to
Look
happen
up
to the
enough videos, you'll see it
LGBT
all.
Well, no, I mean,
and
I'm
women.
looking. I mean,
That's
like,
my
help me out, man.
buttons.
Okay. So what's gonna happen to
Y'all
him?
can argue about all
What's going to
of
happen to LGBT and women if you won't talk about Nazis?
They're actually writing them out of complete, that they don't exist. It means they're actually going to make them non-existent.
Who is?
Trump.
How?
Pence. they're actually changing the definition of gender so that it doesn't include transgender. Like you're not even going to be transgender. That you're not even going to exist. And if you want to get into a physical fight, I will get physical with you if you want to actually try to even fucking argue
That there are only two genders?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only two.
Because I'm fixing to punch you in the face and you can.
If you, it's okay. You know, you can punch me all you want.
Not even,
But you know what? You're a woman,
not even
and so
go there.
if you want to punch me, I will punch back.
That's fine.
Because if you wanna punch like a man, I'll punch like a man.
Transgender doesn't even count.
I didn't say that. When did I say that? When did I say that?
Do you really think there are two genders?
There's two
but you don't
genders.
think people can transgender into another, that they're not just born that way and they're not allowed to go to whatever fucking bathroom they want to go to because of their gender identification? You are a fucking idiot.
Well, I don't identify as an idiot though, so I can't be an idiot.
I identify.
You can't force my identity.
You're a black
You
female.
can't force.
I am a
somebody
black
else.
lesbian Asian woman,
Then I'm proud of you.
and you will accept that.
I accept that. If that's who you identify as, I accept that.
Well, except that it's a farce. I mean, I can say whatever, but I still am a man.
If you want to be a woman,
And
that's
every man that's born a man will always be a man, and they might think they're a woman, but
and that's where you're wrong.
okay.
You're wrong down to your absolute very cellular.
I love people who are men who believe they're women. I mean, I don't think they should be erased from history. I think they should be respected. I'm not going to buy into the delusion that a man thinks he's a woman or a woman thinks she's a man. I'm not going to buy into that
Understand it.
because I understand science. I understand gender.
Because you're ignorant.
Looks like the phone is down.
It's ignorant.
So failing to buy into a false argument is
It's
ignorance?
not buying into it.
It is.
It's ignorance.
No,
That's all.
no.
Have you ever known someone that was transgender?
Actually, yes, I do.
So how can you not
So I love them.
understand
And that guy who is transgendered into a woman is still a guy who thinks he's a woman.
But he's not a guy.
He is a guy.
He was born a woman in the wrong body.
My wife beat into because I went into
Really?
Yeah.
out there real quick?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not so much about being born a woman in the wrong body as it is about the way that gender roles have been pressed.
This isn't about roles. Roles are societally imposed.
I agree with that, and that's
Yes.
what I'm saying. That's what I agree with that, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, is that the gender roles that we have been imposed are pretty, like, black and white dichotomous, that we have man and we have woman. And if you are born into one of those specific genders, you don't necessarily feel like that. Like, the man is generally viewed as the breadwinner, the woman is viewed as the caretaker. If you are born as a man, but you have a caretaking soul, a caretaking nature, then based on the way society is structured, there isn't really a good way to present to society how you are feeling other than to say, I feel like I was born a woman.
And that's fine. And I agree with that. If a man wants to take on a gender role of a woman, he may take on that role of a woman. All he wants to do. It doesn't make him less of a man. It just makes him identify that he believes that he in a gender role that is typically assigned to a woman. So if a man wants to do womanly things, by all means, dress like a woman, pretend you're a woman, call yourself a womanly name, do whatever womanly things do. But I thought the feminist thing was there are no womanly roles and menly roles. But a man is still a man regardless of what he does in society and what role he takes on. So he might take on a feminine role, but he is still a he taking on a feminine role.
So why do we have such a...
Because we're talking physiology versus...
Why do we have such a hard line set definitive into, like, we need to divide man and woman?
Because men have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Okay, cool, but, like, what is that? What effect does that have on society?
That's just science. It has nothing to do with society. I'm talking about people who say that I'm supposed to accept that a man is a woman when a man is a man.
No, but, like, if that man was a woman, would you treat them differently?
No, I don't treat anyone differently.
So then why does it matter if they're a woman?
I am just not going to go into this idea and this cater to this belief that someone thinks they are something they are not physically. I cannot say I'm a dog and expect people to go, okay, you're a dog.
Okay, but I mean...
Because I'm not a dog, no matter how much I say I am.
Yeah, you're talking
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's one chromosome or a million chromosomes. We're talking about...
You treat a dog differently than you treat a man, right?
I treat everyone... people and dogs are different. People and dogs are different, yeah. And I treat dogs different than trees, and I treat dogs different than cats, and I treat... Yeah.
Different than cockroaches.
But I treat people the same.
Yeah, exactly. You should treat people the same. So it shouldn't
And I treat my male dog like a male dog, and a female dog like a female female dog because my female dog is going to have the puppies and my male dog is going to be the sperm. And regardless of whether my male dog decides it wants to be a female dog, it still can't have puppies, but it can still inject a woman with the seeds to create puppies.
So outside of the whole reproductive argument,
Well, that's what defines a man and a woman.
I know,
That's what makes the difference between the two genders.
I know, but
The two
if a
genders.
man wants to be a woman, he's not going to suddenly give birth out of a family. So that's a non-issue.
Which means he's not a woman, and he will never be a woman.
I know, so he may be foregoing that aspect.
Well, he doesn't have a choice, but he doesn't have a choice, and he can embrace all that.
And why would he not treat him the way he wants to be treated?
Who said I'm not going to treat him the way he's going to be treated? But I am not going to buy into the delusion that a man is a woman.
That's fair. I mean, as far as genetics go, I agree. There's male and female due to XX versus
Yes.
Y. But as far as how people are accepted and treated in society, there's a vast difference.
Why can't we just treat everyone with respect and not have to buy into the delusion that somebody is what they're not?
Well, that would be amazing. Like there was.
But that's all I want. That's all I want is everyone to be respected.
Awesome, and I commend you for that view.
I think gay people have a right to be gay, transgender people have a right to be transgender, but I don't have to be forced to accept this false reality.
What influence does this false reality have on your actual reality?
It doesn't matter what the influence is.
Oh, it does,
It's
though.
my,
It does.
this is my feelings, and they want me to accept their feelings, but they won't accept my feelings.
The thing is, an equal
So I revert to reality. I revert to reality.
Say, my name is Forrest, okay?
Yeah.
But what if I feel like I was born a Peter?
Well, that's a name. That's something that's given to us.
I know, but like,
by
as far as your life goes,
that's imposed
does
on us
whether
by society.
I'm a Forrest or I'm a Peter have any influence on your life?
Well, I don't care what you call yourself.
I know, but the thing is, here's the thing. In my life, if I'm born a Forrest and I want to run track in high school, I'm gonna have to deal with incessant jokes of people thinking they're being clever with the run Forrest run joke. If I don't want to deal with that, because I feel like I was born a Peter,
Then become a Peter.
I know exactly.
My name is Chris.
And you're gonna call me Peter,
My name is
right?
Chris, but I go by
You're
CJ.
gonna call me Peter?
I will call you whatever you want. Yes, because a name is just a name. Those things are. No, you're born with a sex.
But the thing is, it doesn't
You're born with it.
influence you in any way, shape, or form, does it?
Nothing influences me. But the only thing that influences me is forcing me to accept an alternate reality. That's what influences
Would you
me.
accept that I was a Peter if I'd introduced myself as Peter?
And I choose to accept that.
Would you have accepted me as a female if I come over here and introduce myself?
I will accept you as anything, but if you come over here and you present yourself as a woman, and all I know of you is that you're a woman, but if I find out you're a male, or you say I used to be a male, well then you're a male.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
And I would even.
Why do you not want to treat people with the roles that they would prefer? Why do you?
What?
What is your
Who?
issue?
I will treat everybody with respect.
Okay, so what are you arguing?
I'm arguing against that I have to accept that there are more than two genders. So you can be a he or a she,
Okay.
and that's a pronoun, that's a word, that's a name. You're still a male.
Okay.
Whether you call yourself a she or a Heather,
Against the fact that there's more than two genders.
that's what this whole argument was about her saying that I have to accept the fact that there are more than two genders. And there are only two genders. There are two. There are two, male and female.
What's the third one?
Transgender.
Okay,
That's
well,
not a-
well,
that's-
that's more of a.
Well, how can you say transgender is a gender?
It's not a gender.
Because that's
It's
trans.
not- well, that's
Trans
really-
means
that's really
you're between
societal
something.
stating that-
Trans means between something or reverting to something, and then gender.
Societal label to
So-
identify.
It's a way to adapt to modern society in the way that we have this dichotomous view of men and women.
All right.
Exactly.
That's all that is.
All right. Well, a man will always be a man,
It's a way of
and a woman will always be a woman. But if a man wants to call himself a woman, more power to him. If a woman wants to call herself a man, more power to her. But I will not accept the fact that there are more than two
And
genders.
let's be honest, the transgender people, they are just accepting it the way society is. They need to present to people in an honest and upfront manner that I was born a man, but I feel like a woman.
Well, here's-
So all they're trying to do is be more open and honest with you.
And what I would like is that same acceptance that I will not recognize a male as a female.
Why not?
Because I don't.
I'm asking-
Because
I'm asking you why not.
just like it's their option to recognize themselves as something, it's my option to recognize them as well.
Okay.
And so
Are you going to treat
she recognized me as a fucking idiot. Idiot. Yeah. So, but I accept that she has the right to look at me as an idiot, and I will look at he, she. I don't even know anymore who she is because she's starting to confuse me. But
That's clever, but anyway, keep going.
I don't want to be disrespectful and say he when she's a she and she when he's a he. But if you were born a woman, you're a woman. Yeah. So If you were born a man, you're a man.
Great woman that has a lot of LGBTQ friends.
I have a lot of LGBTQ friends too, and they know that I respect them, and they don't force me to accept something that I don't have to accept.
That's what I love about the LGBTQ community. They don't force anybody.
Oh yeah, they
to
do.
anything.
They are forcing gender pronouns on us, and we get castigated and ostracized.
The thing is, if somebody has a personal issue with it, you need to try to respect the way that they feel about it.
I don't have to respect anyone.
You just
I
said-
do.
you just
I
said
do
you
respect.
want me to
I do respect everybody, but I don't have to. What's that? I am.
So, but basically, the core tenet of the Bible, if you get
Wait, are you a Christian?
I'm not, but it's okay.
Okay.
'cause I've been to-
I just want to make sure that a non-Christian's not going to lecture me on being a Christian.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let
All right.
you know on what your fucking book says. Because when you take out all the parables that make it interesting and fun, the core tenet is the golden rule: treat others.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, exactly. So treat others as they would like to be treated. You agree with that, right?
Treat others as you would like to be treated.
Okay, exactly. If you had a personal opinion, you wanted things to be a certain way, would you not like people to respect?
Well, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to engage in an alternate reality, though. Just because someone wants to be treated as if they are in an alternate reality, I don't have to oblige an alternate reality.
I know, but they're just asking for your respect to not be insistent.
They just want to be respected. I can respect them without accepting their alternate reality.
Don't insist. But I said he didn't get rid of it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, everybody wants to be respected. What's that?
But you're purposely disrespecting.
I'm not purposely disrespecting them. They are choosing to be disrespected.
Wait, how do you choose to be?
I was like, I don't think.
No, you can choose to be disrespected based on how you interpret someone else's actions. I could have very easily felt disrespected when she cussed at me, but I don't. But some people might. Some people might say, you cussed at me, you just disrespected me, because I chose to be disrespected or chose not to be disrespected. Being respected is a choice.